Alright gang, where we left off was we got this all situated and secure so that it's going to stay put. So off camera I went ahead and went through and just connected all the wiring, made sure that everything was doing what it's supposed to do, and it is. I didn't want to start it on the bench in case the hydro wants to try to move the tractor one way or the other, so it's, you know, better safe than sorry kind of thing. Let's see here. There. Whoop. We're good. So now that I've got everything hooked up with the exception of the throttle and choke cables, which are right here. Get back up on that tank. And the choke is, there's the choke wire. And I mark these, so there's the choke there. And I just need to put the block down. Those are both right here. Okay. That goes like that. Cable goes like that. And that screws on down. Oops. Get back under there. That's that. And then the throttle goes over here on this one on the first hole. So the throttle cable, which is right here, goes in. Come here, come back here, and down. And then the other clamp goes on. I gotta hold that with one finger. The other cable goes here. Got a little bit of a late start this morning. When I got in the house, I had a phone call I had to take off, and I couldn't edit the video that I did yesterday. I should really have gloves on, you know what? I mean, that's why I've got them. Anyway, had to take off, so I couldn't edit it, so I had to edit it this morning, and it's like a 45-minute long video, so it took a long time to edit, stitch, and process. And then once that was done, we got back home, and I was tarred with a capital T, so I just turned on the boob tube and left well enough alone and did all the editing this morning. Okay, that is low throttle. So I'll go ahead and cinch that guy down. And I had mentioned this once before. The only icon ratchet that I have is this 1/4 inch. It's my favorite. I go to it all the time. I've got a snap-on, but I like this one quite well. Alright, there's that. Let's make sure we've got plenty of throttle movement. There we go. And it's good and tight. You want that throttle to be good and tight. I'll show you over here on this one. There's another type of, it's not a Belleville, but it is a type of washer that pinches down on everything and just helps create tension here, and the tension keeps that bolt in place, or rather keeps the throttle in place when you're throttling up and down. So, but anyway, so you want to make sure that's good and tight, otherwise as you're running it'll back off on you. So that's good. We've got our choke. The choke is up here. I'll pull choke, and I believe that is choke on. Yep. All right, now we can tighten that one down. It's the little things. You gotta do the big things and the little things. But hopefully Sean has taken a minute and saw that there's another Kwik-Way video, and that there's precious little left to do here. All I really have to do is just drill 3 holes and mount this pump. And once that pump is mounted, make sure that choke goes off. Did I do that backwards? Did it backwards. I've got the table up too high, so I'm having to reach up real high to do this. I suppose I could let it down, huh? Good. That's a little easier. Dumb butt. You wanna move on me now? Okay, so. Holding on to you guys isn't working. I'm gonna finish getting these cables on, get them adjusted, get them to where they're happy. And then we're gonna commence to marking, and then transferring the mark to the outside and getting our holes drilled so that we can get that puppy permanently mounted. So sit tight. That's my $35 pawn shop find, rigid model R7122. Look up the price on them, 35 bucks all day long. And so what I'm going to do right now, I've got my hands full, I'm just going to put new holes in these 2 existing holes right here, but new holes through the bracket. And then the center hole, we will get it figured out right where it's at, and then poke through on it. But I'm going to put a smaller diameter bolt in with a larger diameter hole so that it has wiggle room, so that we can still adjust. So when I drill this side, this would be the left side as you're sitting on the tractor. When I drill that side, I will bring it down and elongate the hole in that angle iron, just like the old hole, so that we can properly tension the belt. So right now I'm just going to touch this bit to the metal so that I've got my center, then I've got my smaller bit to get things started. I don't know if that's something you guys know or not, but always drill a pilot hole, especially when you're going from when you're drilling a larger hole. If you look, the webbing that goes across the center of that drill bit, well, that's you want to use a bit that is a little bit larger than that cross section on that bit, so that you're actually cutting and not trying to push that webbing through the steel. It's just something that I picked up in high school from my metal shop teacher, Vicious, but he went by Rudy. Great guy, still alive. Talk to him every once in a while. Graduated in '84 for anybody who's wondering. But anyway, I'm going to pilot these 2 and then drill these 2 through. Then I'll drop this down so that I can elongate the hole there, and then we'll find that hole that's pre-existing in the square tube and angle iron and blow through with a large enough hole, and then we'll probably just use a 1/4 bolt. That'll give that room so that when I want to tighten it, you know, if the belt needs tightened or changed or what have you, and you can pull that bolt all the way out. But just to tighten it, you can just loosen that bolt and then still be able to put tension on that belt. I hope that's clear as mud. So let me get those holes drilled, and I'll throw a bolt in this hole. Excuse me. I'll throw a bolt in this hole after I get that one drilled, and then this one I'm going to drill right where it sits, which is, I might pull it up just a little bit so that we've got a loose belt, and then I will pull it all the way down beyond how tight that belt should be and drill again so that we've got our slot. So I'll bring you guys back after I get the holes drilled. That's a short story, really long. Alright, it's been a little bit. I had to break out the mill. I went ahead and milled a slot in that angle iron on that bracket, and I'll show that to you in a second. Got that bolt in. Right now I'm just making sure that my holes line up and that I can adjust. That needs to go up. Up, I say, up. Thank you. Okay. I don't know where I'm hitting. Where am I hitting? I see a little snag right there. We'll use the little rat tail file. I'm right next to the original hole, and yeah, I'll stick that back in the mill to clean that up. I'll show you the slot. Like I say, it's right next to the here, look at that for a second while I take that bracket off. Oh. And I see right where it's hitting, so. And I went ahead and took the pump off the bracket. Just makes it a whole lot easier to finagle the bracket around without the pump on it. Shouldn't have taken that clamp off yet. It's made my job a little more difficult on myself. No big deal. We got her. Okay. Up you come. Alright, it's not pretty, but you can see the slot that I made is there on the left. Kind of looks like a butterfly, doesn't it? Okay. So that little bit of a stick out right there, the top of the butterfly, I can't point to it. Hang on. That spot right there, I'm just going to take that out so that the bolt will work. And I'm going to bolt this up with the bracket pushed all the way up, which will be as loose as the belt will go. And then I'll center mark and drill the front frame support on the tractor to accommodate that. And then I'm just going to have to take a die grinder with a carbide bit on it and a burr bit and just elongate the hole on that frame so that it will move a little bit. I thought about putting a quarter 20 bit in there, or bolt in there. I want more rigidity than that, and I'll stick with the 3/8. So let me clean that little bit off, get that hole marked, get that hole started, and may even be able to just drill 2 holes, 2 small pilot holes, and then follow it up with the 3/8 bit. So we'll see what happens. Let me get that cleaned off, and we'll get that bracket back on there and get the holes in it, and then we can mount the pump back up, get the pulley back onto it, and that should be the final mounting. So stay tuned for that. All right, well, we've busted everything out, pulled out all the stops. We used the mill, we used the lathe part of the smithy. I just didn't want to swap everything over, and since this is sitting right beside it, may as well use that, right? And I can go ahead and unplug that now that we're done with it. Got to get it cleaned up. That off. I started on the drill press. I was like, no, I'm just gonna. So I took the pump completely off. I don't remember where I left off, but took the pump completely off of the bracket and chucked the bracket up and got our slot cut in it. Now this is the original over here. So I've got a funky looking washer right here. That's got a right angle ground on two sides. It just gives this side of the bracket full motion up and down. And then our through hole, which is right there. Is that the wrong one? Can't be the wrong one. Anyway, I clearanced it, and then I also drilled a slot here. Just drilled 2 holes and then took my straight carbide bit and cleaned that up. So rigid mount, 3 mounting spots. Let's see, where are we at now? We're to the point of just going ahead and slapping that sucker in there. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me get things set up, and I'll just run a time lapse of me getting it mounted, and then we'll come back afterward, and then it'll be time to, believe it or not, it will be time to marry the tractor to the loader. So stay tuned. First, I'm going to take this back loose again and rotate it where it's supposed to be. I've got it 90 degrees, clock 90 degrees out. Duh. I just remembered I said I was going to fast forward to do a time lapse of something, and I didn't do it. Okay. Don't ask me how many times I had that on there wrong, because I had a 1 in 4 shot. Admittedly, it took 3 of the 4 possible. There's a boss right here, right there, on the pump, that when I turned it over, because I thought that needed to be on this side, which is wrong, it needs to be right where it's at. That boss came up and hit, and the bracket wouldn't go in. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So pulley off again. It was a whole thing. So we've got 1, 2, 3 bolts in. Okay, these 2 are adjustable bolts where it'll raise and lower, and this one is our pivot point, or our fulcrum, where it'll allow it to pivot up and down. And we've got the belt with the proper deflection on it right now. I'm not going to start it until I have these hooked up to the loader, because it can't circulate the fluid. So if I start the engine, bad things can happen. So I'm just not going to do that. But it, oh, pardon me, it is mounted, and everything is lined up perfectly. You guys can get a gander of both pulleys there, but we are dead straight, and I still have room that I can move top or bottom pulley. I can shim the top pulley, I can slide out the bottom pulley a little bit more on the shaft. It's got quite a ways, probably another 1/4 inch or so, but everything is in, on, and lined up. So now it's time to muscle this thing over to the loader. But first I have to lift the loader and get the kickstands from my loader up under it, so we can wheel this under. And then we'll get the hoses connected and start the tractor up, and we should have a functional loader. So I'm not gonna make you guys sit there and watch me huff and puff and push and tug and jerk and yank. I'll just bring you back when everything's hooked up, right before I start it up, and we take it for its maiden voyage on the Power Steering Sovereign. So stay tuned. It's almost all the way mounted. Just got to put my struts on. and we should be able to fire it up, take it out, and take it on a little voyage to see how the bucket likes the Sovereign and how the Sovereign likes the bucket. So of course, when I get to that point of starting it, we will get the camera back on, and you guys keep your fingers crossed I measured right. Measure twice, cut once. Hang on. It is make it or break it time. The supports are on and everything lined up quite nicely. So, oops, I'll take that off. Had to use that to get these uprights to do what they were supposed to do. But everything's lined up. So now all that's left is start this thing and see what blows up. I should not have said that. Fingers crossed, nothing does. So I guess there's no better time than the present, huh? Do the whole anticipation thing. Still have the hood to put on, still have the angle iron to put across the top of the bucket with the hooks. But that's small potatoes. This was the big potato. So if you're ready, I'm ready. And I will tell you, it's a whole lot easier to get on the Sovereign with the loader than it is to get on this with the loader. But it is a little easier than the 7117. Okay, I think we're ready. I have hoses laying on tires. That's not going to work. They can't lay on the tires like that. Let me show you what I mean. Whoop, excuse me. Yeah, both my hoses are laying just directly on the tire. So I've got to, I need to just cinch those up. Let me do that real quick. After I get them cinched up, then we'll try to start it and see if it's going to do what it's supposed to do. Hang on. There we go. I'd rather have too many zip ties on than not enough. Up and out of the way. I think everything else is clearing just fine. We've got good 1/4 inch between the pulley and the center pivot bolt. Okay, here goes nothing. Or here goes everything. Are we ready? Take 2. Make sure we're recording. We are recording. Oh. Okay. Let's go. Okay, I can see right now I'm going to have a problem with these hoses, so I need to make a cradle for them so that they're happy, because you move the boom up and down, the hoses move with it. And they moved my zip ties, and I already broke one zip tie. So yeah, that's not good, that's not good, that's not good. But minor thing, no big deal on that. But it's working, no leaks. It's doing what it's supposed to do. That was the plan, wasn't it? We got it. All right. Let's see. I'm going to see what I can do about these hydraulic lines. Need to make some kind of a stirrup for them so that they won't get into the wheel and tire. I don't think it's how I routed them. But as I was moving it, it was yanking on those zip ties real good. We'll get her figured. But Sean, there you go. It's officially a Kwik-Way loader mounted to a power steering Sovereign. Yes sir, yes sir. Alright, I'm tired. It is after my quitting time, because I was not going to quit until I got this loader mounted and operational. So Sean, you're on the short train. It will not be long now and you'll be able to come pick everything up. Got to get the hood on it, get the notches cut and get the hood set down on it, and figure a way to stow those lines so that they stay away from the tire. Don't recall them doing that when it was on the other tractor, but that doesn't mean anything. Right on. Okay. It's your friendly neighborhood Zippo. I'm tired. I've not ate yet. So I'm gonna go in and eat something. And after I eat something, I will edit this and turn my phone off so nobody bugs me. And I will get this video uploaded as quick as possible. It is Tuesday, May 17th. This will make Sean happy. My plan worked out. I got her done today. I'm looking and I'm thinking at the same time. So instead of me sitting there doing that and you guys just hanging out for no good reason. Friendly neighborhood Zippo, I promise you guys, I will see you when I see you, which will be a little bit more on the Kwik-Way, just tidying things up, and then the 7117 and the 7118, the 7116, 7118 out in the pasture under cover. We'll get those in, tidy up the couple of things that those were needing, and then we'll do a finale of everything done side by side, ready to be picked up. So tomorrow, Wednesday, you guys remember I said I was taking the King Midget out to Ohio to get stuff done to it. So tomorrow's off the table. I'll be right back at it on Thursday. And I had a Skag and a golf cart dropped off to me, but I have to order parts for them, so that's going to buy me into the weekend, possibly Monday, before those parts come in. And that'll give me plenty of time to bust tail on the remaining little piddly things that need to be done to these guys. So that's it. I'll see you when I see you. Zippo later. Kwik-Way loader installed.